Hi, everyone, and welcome to Unleashed with me, Scarlett Johnson, presented by Moms for Liberty. And today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to have two teenage girls on, and we're going to talk about some very important issues. These girls were just on Fox and Friends last week. They did a fabulous job, and they've become the face for a movement that they never asked to be a part of, but in times such as this, they were the heroes that we needed. So I'm going to bring them both on right now, Briley Lechner and Ella Frei. Welcome, ladies.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hi, Briley. How are you guys doing? I know.
Good, thank you.
Good. You guys were chatting before we went live. Very cute. So Ella, you have to show us the new member of your family.
Okay.
Oh,
this is Jelly Bean.
Oh, so cute. Look at that little puppy. Oh, so cute. How is she doing?
She's doing great. She's a little raspy, but she's a wild one for sure.
Oh, look at how cute. Oh my goodness, so cute. Jelly Bean.
Jelly Bean, yep.
Oh, that's so cute. And your mom said there was one very unusual comment by a hater who said that you're getting paid in puppies.
Yeah, we had a guy in my town said that I'm getting paid by you guys, and that's how I got the puppy.
Oh,
So.
Oh yes, but that she's adorable. She's so cute, and I loved the picture that you sent me with her. So
you'd be working overtime.
I know I'm getting another puppy. And you're a senior in high school at New Richmond High School, correct? And Briley, you're a junior. And which high school do you attend in Michigan?
Monroe High School.
Monroe High School. You're a junior. You're both volleyball players, so you have that in common. And you also have been standing up and fighting for privacy in women's bathrooms, their spaces, and for women's sports to stay female. And I will start, Briley. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your story? What happened to you? I know you talked about it a little bit on Fox and Friends. Actually, you know what? Let me play this clip first. Let's put on the clip and then have you guys talk about it.
Indiana Fever star Sophie Cunningham is standing up for women's sports. The WNBA player defending her stance from critics, quote, saying this: "I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense. I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children, and that's little girls who are also involved in that category. And so I stand on what I said, and I'm going to always believe that. That's why you have Title IX. That's why you have some of the greats in women's sports. And if Title IX and women's sports weren't protected, then you wouldn't hear about any type of women in sports." And young female athletes are looking to her as a role model, saying, quote, "Sophie is the hero we so desperately needed, and it means the world to me." Those two girls, Briley Lechner and Ella Frei, join me now. Briley, welcome. I read that you actually played on your volleyball team against a biological male. Tell me about that.
So it was my past season where we unknowledgeably played against this other athlete, and we did share a locker room with him, and we also competed with him, and we were not informed that this was the case until days after.
Briley, and we know Peyton McNabb was spiked by a biological male, and she suffered a traumatic brain injury from that. Does that place any fear in you?
100%. I know that it definitely freaks out me and my teammates, along with girls on other teams.
Yeah. Ella, and you are suing your high school because they allow biological boys in the locker room with you, and you've incurred harassment from that?
Yeah, so I stood up at the school board meeting and said that I think this is inappropriate and boys shouldn't be allowed to share bathrooms and similar spaces like that. And I kind of got shut down. So they said that if you want to take a step forward, you have to sue the school. And so that's what we did.
Wow. And Ella, what lessons do you take from Sophie Cunningham? She's one of the few voices that speak up for women. You don't hear many.
No, first off, I want to say a huge thank you to Sophie because it's really brave for her to stand up for young girls like Briley and I. And when I first heard about her speaking out, I was ecstatic. And I thought, like, you don't see very many people with that platform sharing their opinions because it could be a controversial topic.
No, in fact, you see the opposite. I want to play this. This is Megan Rapinoe, someone who benefited from Title IX, as many women have. Here's what she had to say on this issue. Listen to this.
Now, all of a sudden, we're going to use a vulnerable group of people in the trans community to be like, oh, well, we're just protecting women's sports and we care so much about it. Like, yes, they're going after trans people in sports and they're using this as a wedge issue because we love sports and, you know, we don't want our little girls to be unsafe in sports. And really, what we're attacking women. We're saying, if you look like this as a woman, you can play.
Briley, she said we're attacking women by standing up for women. What do you make of that statement?
I personally, of course, I agree that there should not be biological men competing against us. And I think that allowing that is 100% taking away our privacy and safety and fairness.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, you know, Ella, I saw something in the notes and you said you want more celebrities to stand up. I agree with you. And you look, before Title IX, it was single digits, the number of young women in high school sports. It is now close to 45%. What's your message to other celebrities out there who might be thinking about speaking up on this?
Don't be afraid to speak up. And there's a lot of people already looking up to you and that agree with you and who support you. And I think it just makes me look up to you more, hearing that you stand up for young girls like me.
Yeah, and Briley, your message to women in sports who might be looking at Riley Gaines and saying, it may be time for me to speak out. Riley Gaines, of course, a hero in this field, and she did it back when virtually no one would.
Yep, I think that as the people who are more well known, it is making it 10 times more inspiring, and it's encouraging me and a lot of other female athletes to speak out. And I just hope and I pray that more and more people contribute and continue to speak out.
Briley and Ella, thank you for being here, for joining me, and for having the courage to speak out. Appreciate you both.
Thank you.
That was a great interview, ladies. I know it can sometimes be hard to watch yourself again. I always want to take a beat before I watch myself. If I've been on the news, I'm like, I can't watch. But I think you guys did so good. You represented so well. And it's not easy doing those kind of interviews, right? It can look like it when you're watching it, but it's a lot of pressure when you're staring at the camera, even when you're doing it from your home, and kind of you don't get to see everything like you're there in person. So you guys did a great job. How do you feel?
I personally, of course, I was nervous going into it, but afterwards I was proud and happy that I went through it. And I think that messages like myself and Ella gave across should be encouraging to other girls.
Yes. How do you feel, Ella?
I think this one went way better than the first time. The first time I was just so nervous and like some of the questions just were really hard to answer, but like this topic seemed like it just flowed off the tongue. And I definitely wasn't like mad at myself. I didn't say fart or anything else on live television. So
Yes, it was. We were able to edit that out though.
yeah.
We could edit that little one out. It was just, I didn't even notice it till you pointed it out, but no one needs to know. Although you said it. So, and Ella, like you said, you're 17, a senior at New Richmond High School in Wisconsin. Briley, 16, volleyball player at Monroe High School in Michigan. One of you are fighting for bathrooms, private spaces, and Ella, you've recently been speaking out about just saying, no, we don't want men in women's sports, much like Sophie Cunningham. Maybe you haven't encountered one yet, but that doesn't mean you are, this is your space, this is your world, and you want to talk about the fact that you stand in solidarity with Briley and all the other girls, like Adelaide Cross, who was one of the plaintiffs in the Supreme Court case where we got the landmark decision, that you want to stand up and say, we don't want biological males in female sports. And both of you refused to stay quiet when adults kind of looked the other way. And other adults even actively participated in implementing these policies and continuing to have these policies in your school districts. So that's very brave, and that's why it's important that you guys are ambassadors of this movement. It was made clear to me, and lawyers also made it clear to me, that we weren't going to win this with just us moms talking, that our daughters needed to speak up as well, that we needed the victims to say something. And you guys are among the very first to be very public about your opinion. Why, I'll start with you, Ella, why do you feel like you need to be public about this issue? What has it been like? What has your journey been like? And why do you keep on fighting?
I keep on fighting for all the other girls that are to come in my school. I think when I look back at like, why am I doing this? Number one, it's like, I don't want these girls to have to go through what I had to go through. I don't want them walking in one day and being surprised that there's somebody in your bathroom that's not supposed to be there. And two, because I think if we don't speak out, then it's just going to get worse. Like at my school, if we never spoke up, this policy would have just stayed as a no policy, and it probably would have went to our sports, and it probably would have went even farther than that. And I think that's why it's so important that you just speak out even when you feel so alone, because you're not really alone. I did not realize how many supporters I actually had in my town until after I spoke out at the school board meeting.
Yeah. And what about you, Briley?
I believe that, like Ella mentioned, if we aren't speaking out and there aren't girls that are willing to speak out and put themselves out there, nothing is going to be said. And I almost feel as if it's going to be a domino effect. Once one girl speaks out, another girl's going to want to speak out and continue to fight for this. I like to think to the very beginning of the sport of why you actually joined the sport and why you actually love the sport. You love it because you're surrounded by the girls. You love it because you're in the locker room getting ready with each other, and then you go out on the court and play and have fun with each other. And that should never be stripped away from you. You should never have to worry about unnecessary things that should absolutely not be a problem.
You know, Ella, I remember you saying the same thing, that when you looked at what was happening in California with AB Hernandez, you thought about not just when you have to compete against a male, but all the time that you spend with your teammates, early morning practices, you're together all day at meets, you're on buses together, you spend so much time together, and how uncomfortable it would be to have to keep pretending and keep up that face where you're just not supposed to notice that something that is obviously wrong is happening.
I totally agree. And like, I still stand by that. I think it's just brainwashing to tell me that like you're supposed to embrace it and that it doesn't feel wrong. Even like if I had a boy on my team, it would just feel so wrong to me and unfair to all the teams that I would have to play. And you're just spending so much time with that person. And like, I don't know, for stretching and stuff, you got that pepper partner. And I just think it would just be a really awkward experience for everyone on the team.
Yeah, you have dinners together, you have team dinners, you do, and with my daughters actively involved, there's just so much, like then there's, when the season starts, you do kind of all the fun activities. You come over to the house of the freshmen, you get them all dressed up. I mean, do you guys do that? That was one of the things where they have to come to school dressed like really crazy, whatever outfit, and take pictures of them all day. There's all sorts of like fun things that you do. You carpool together. And I don't know, I just think that when all the focus is on this boy that's on the team, and that's something that you experienced, Briley, where just everything became about this guy, this boy. There's reporters coming to your meets. There's rumors flying around. There's whispering, and parents going to school board meetings, and you have to go to school board meetings, and it's awkward, right?
It is 100% awkward, especially having to be face to face across a male player. Is just, insane to me. I am a middle, and this other boy was also a middle, and so we would be face to face across the net. And of course, that's the only thing I'm going to be thinking about the entire game. Once I did find out that there was a boy on the other side, that's all my team was going to be talking about, because that's so out of the ordinary and something that we shouldn't even have to think about.
And Briley, and because you're both volleyball players, Ella, I'm sure you can relate, because Briley, you talked about the fact that you watched this player and the way they spiked the ball and how high they could jump, and you'd kind of, in comparison, felt like, boy, I can never be that good. You were kind of down on yourself. Ella, I'm sure you can imagine feeling the same way. Imagine you're watching this boy that's, long hair, trying to look like a girl. You don't know, you're questioning, and they're doing so well. They're doing things that you can't do. And you're wondering, am I just not a great athlete? Will I ever be this good? Then you find out it's a boy with all these biological advantages. How would that make you feel, Ella?
It just, like, 2 words, not fair. Like, I don't think I play with boys sometimes, like, for fun in school ball, whatever. We do like the challenges, and they're just up there. Like, their verticals up there. They don't even really know the rules. They just hit it however they feel like. And even with that hit, it's still like way more powerful than mine could ever be. And I could just, I don't know. I'm a middle too. I could never imagine trying to block those balls too. Like, it's just, there's so much biological differences, and the net is literally nearly a foot lower too. They just have way more advantage on us as well.
They're taller, muscle mass, lung capacity, the strength, and those are advantages that are not erased by puberty blockers. They're not erased by cross-sex hormones. They are always there, and they're more pronounced if a male goes through full biological puberty without any of those things, but they are always there. They're inherent biological differences. And it's not like Megan Rapinoe, it's not sexist to say that. That's just reality. And for her to defend these males and not females, that's kind of your experience, right? That you see a lot of these kind of woke women that they should be on your side, but they're not. How does that make you feel, Briley, to see that other women that are supporting this boy rather than standing with you?
Can you give me 1 second to go
Yes.
get my dog to stop running around upstairs?
Yes, there you go.
It makes me feel very portrayed in a way, as if, I mean, we're supposed to be a sisterhood. Volleyball, the sport, it's a sisterhood. Even soccer, I play soccer, it's a sisterhood. The girls you're on a team with, those are the girls that you bond with, you connect with. Like was mentioned earlier, you are spending basically every day together. And so to see other girls take a different side that goes against girls feeling safe and protected and competing and a fair gameplay, it's very disappointing. And it just makes you feel like you're just kind of like pushed to the side, and you're not, like, the female sport isn't being prioritized and the sisterhood isn't being prioritized.
And that's why what Sophie Cunningham did was really so special. She's the first professional female athlete to come out and say that she supports biological women, that she's all about love. That was her statement, all about love, but she's also about loving biological women and loving truth. And she needs to stand for truth. And that means that she's going to stand up for biological females, that they should not have boys in their locker rooms or in their bathrooms, and that boys should not be playing on female athletic teams. And to do that at the height of her popularity it's extremely brave. And Ella, I know that you talked a little bit about how that made you feel, but how in comparison to some of the female teachers in your school that describe some of the things that they have done to you, and then how refreshing it is to have somebody with power actually standing on your side.
Yeah, so in my school, I had some teachers that were encouraging the hate, if you guys didn't know. And there's like a whole nother group chat on Facebook, and they're encouraging hate in students towards me. And it just made me feel like worthless, and like you're supposed to be the people that I should trust, and you like stand by that, and you say that you're supposed to be caring towards the students. And so hearing that Sophie Cunningham came out and said like, hey, like truth is also like love, love is truth. And I think that it's kind of a big like I told you so to like the teachers, like, hey, truth is love. You can still love this student and care for them, but like also deep down, like taking over the women's spaces is definitely not the right thing to do. And also at the same time, I think that they should be a little more loving, like we all have our own opinions and stuff.
Mhm.
And I think it's really unprofessional for them to just encourage it as well. And it really like downs on some of the students, and like me and all the other girls that were with me, they don't want to see a teacher do that. Like they're not going to want to be in your classes after seeing how you treated me.
Yeah.
And I think that when Sophie Cunningham said that, it just felt really empowering to me, because like I'm not alone. Like us girls that I've been fighting for this for a long time, and it's been kind of quiet for a while, and then she comes out and says this, and it just felt like I'm back. Like I'm fighting again. This is my uprise again.
Yes. And she's giving permission for people to say something similar. That's the big part. She is giving permission for other female athletes to say the exact same thing. When someone like her says it, it sort of points out, and I'm talking about later about Animal Farm. And if you guys haven't read that, it's a great book by George Orwell. But the whole premise of this story is that the way that a tyrant can get control of a society is by making people believe a lie, repeat a lie. And even when it's so obvious that it is a lie, when you can get them to repeat it and live by it, then you can control everything. If you can control language, you can control a whole society. And it is a way for these woke activists, far left, to control language and to make you say a boy can be a girl can be a boy. And this sort of mind control trick actually works to kind of force this coercion, force everyone to just keep going along with something that's just so obviously not true. And Bradley, in your school, I know in your school district, there were a lot of people that supported your dad, Sean, and his efforts, and a lot of other parents' efforts to expose this, to correct it. But they were silent supporters. And oftentimes you had to watch your dad stand alone. How did that make you feel?
In this situation, in a lot of situations, I look up to my dad completely, and it warms my heart so much to see that even with nobody else standing up loudly right by his side, that he was still going through it. Like he was still going through with it. He was still continuing to do it. And I knew and I know that the fight that he put up and is putting up isn't just for me, it's for all of these other girls. And it does break my heart to see that my dad is fighting for his friends' daughters and then not seeing them take his side loudly and boldly when they tell him silently that they believe in what he's fighting for and they appreciate it so much. But every voice matters, and that would be so much more important if they are all come together. And so definitely does hurt to see that they aren't willing to stand up with my dad out loud. But of course, the support and at least a message to him is something that is nice.
I'm going to say, because there was an update, your dad had sent me a link. And so recently, the same school district that put a male athlete into the girls' locker room and in volleyball is now under formal pressure by the Department of Education and Secretary of Education Linda McMahon for systematically hiding that kind of information from parents. And that was just put out there was a CBS Detroit report that said that Ann Arbor has a policy that's requiring staff to hide a student's transgender status from parents. Records related to gender identity are kept in a separate filing system. And this is something that when when you finally knew that there was an athlete, this trans woman, aka a biological male, playing, that there was a whole cover up, that everyone was trying to be quiet about it, not tell the truth to parents, not tell the truth to students. And now the Department of Education, the DOJ, have given the school district till August 10th to explain why they should not proceed with enforcement activities. So that means that school district that had this athlete is potentially going to lose federal funding. So this is very strong action taken by the Department of Education, Secretary Linda McMahon. And I would bet that what you're doing and that what your dad has been doing and the amplification of these efforts, in particular last week, is really helping to get attention. You know, the Trump administration, they're paying attention. And so what you're doing is causing real change. So you should know that what you're doing is really, really moving this needle. And so I really hope that this season, that there are so many more girls and parents that are going to stand with you, particularly when now you've got the Office of Civil Rights investigating the school districts, including your own, about this issue. So I'm very proud of what you're doing. And Ella, you as well, there is currently a Title IX investigation into the New Richmond School District, and you are part of a lawsuit filed by parents and students against the school district for their Title IX policies, which allow males into girls' spaces and males onto girls' athletic teams. And you were cited in the announcement of this OCR investigation. You were cited by the Department of Education. How did that make you feel, that your speech given to the school board, which went viral, that it was an underlying reason why accountability is coming to New Richmond?
It doesn't really feel real. And I think it's crazy that someone with so much power cited me. And I'm just really grateful that it happened to be me. And I think that with everything going on and all the opportunities that I've been given, that was kind of one of the coolest things that I've had so far, like being cited. And I just, like I said, I never thought that speaking up at that school board meeting would ever go anywhere. And I was so incredibly nervous and I didn't want to at all. And I'm really grateful I did.
And Briley, you spoke to your school board too as well. Was that nerve-wracking?
100%. It was definitely nerve-wracking, and I wasn't quite sure the questions that our attorney would ask me, so I just kind of took the seat and I was just ready, and then everything just kind of flowed out of my mouth from there. And agreeing with Ella, I wouldn't regret it, and I'm very grateful that I got to be the girl to do that.
Yeah, and it's made a real huge difference. And I'm grateful that through this platform and through Moms for Liberty, that we have been able to help you guys and your families, because this is why I do what I do. This is why so many of us at Moms for Liberty do what we do, in the hopes that we can affect real change, like boots on the ground, real actual change, not just rage bait and clickbait, but actual real change. And so I'm just so honored and grateful to work with you and your families as we really sort of attack this zeitgeist and once and for all, like, win this war on women and girls and this denial of reality. So I'll ask a few things so people can get to know you. Ella, what was your regular life like before all of this? How was life at school? Did you, like, before you knew that any of this was happening, I mean, did you actually contemplate, did you actually think that your school district would ever allow a boy in your space on your athletic team? What was life like pre-January 2026?
I would have never thought that this would happen to my school. Like, I thought this was like California, Minnesota, not Wisconsin. And like, I don't know, my life before that was just sports, friends, hangouts. Like it was really like, I don't know, childlike. And I think now I still like to give myself a little bit of childhood time. I still go to bonfires and stuff, but it's like part of me matured to a point where it's like I'm looking at my candidates who are running in my town, who's running for like secretary. Like I'm looking at all of this stuff now, and I wasn't back then. And I don't think me and my family have never went to a single school board meeting, and that all changed like last year. It's just crazy how things can change so fast, and I think I've matured a lot as well. And I never thought that this would be where I'm at right now. And I think it's crazy to think that this, I don't know, it's just a small, really small town. You don't know what's happening behind closed doors. And I think with that, I just want to say to everyone, like, stay involved, look who's running, and just really keep your eyes open. Because a lot of times my mom even said, like, she just went to vote and would just check off a box. She's like, well, the school seems like they're doing fine now, so I might as well just check off the same box. And that's what she was doing until we found out that it was sneaky, and that you really have to stay informed on what's going on, talk to your kids, go to the school board meetings, just really stay involved. And we just weren't staying involved before because we thought everything was fine. But moral of the story, stay involved.
And that kids will keep secrets from their parents. They won't tell them what's happening because they don't want everything to change. They feel ashamed. They may know my parent will get very angry and involved, and then everyone will know it is me that said something. So that's good encouragement that you have to speak up and you have to say something, because if you don't, things can get really bad. The same question to you, Briley. What was your life like before all of this? Did you ever think that this would, something like that? Did you know who Riley Gaines was before? Did you think that anything like this could ever happen in your school district?
Of course, I did not think that this is something that would happen. I never in a million years would have thought that I would have to compete against a biological male across the net and not even be told ahead of time. It'd be one thing if we were informed before and given the opportunity to back down or not, and say whether or not we were comfortable with being in a changing room with them or not, but we weren't given that opportunity. So that made me now open my eyes up. Now I'm a lot more aware when I'm on the court or even just out in public. It makes me look around more when I'm in the restrooms. Today I was at Cedar Point and I was just in the restroom looking around, making sure I'm alert, because things just get slipped. Like people slip things in there so easily, and it's like they act like it's not a big deal, but in reality it is. Even outside of the female sports, just biological female in general, like the environment is supposed to be so safe. The bathrooms are supposed to stay safe and be safe. And I should always feel protected and not have to worry about that. So I would say from before, there's definitely a lot less worries compared to now. My eyes have just opened up a lot more.
And I would say to parents, if you have really young girls, I would send my 10-year-old into the bathroom alone, but now I won't. You can't let your daughters go into a bathroom alone anymore. You just don't know who's going to be in there. And that's really sad. That's really sad that you can't think that your daughter is going to be safe just using a public restroom. You just don't know if there's going to be some weird guy like that whole thing that happened in Florida, that crazy guy, like, call me she. Like, what if, your daughter or your niece, your granddaughter, that's who she encounters. And I think about that, like for you girls, if you're in high school and college and that crazy guy from Florida is in there and you accidentally say he, because it's so obviously a male, and he just goes crazy. And what if touches you, harms you, that's a very real fear, right? I mean, Ella, you were told it's not a big deal having this boy in the bathroom. Then you see the potential of somebody with such severe mental illness that they will act that way to police officers, to security officers. So imagine how they would act to you. Is that something that's a real fear that you have? going into the bathroom, would that be a real fear that you would have? Is that something that you imagined?
Yeah, I think going off of like the last question too, what was your life before and after? Like Briley said, like yeah, it's more alert. And I think after I spoke up and I realized that like, whoa, you're going viral, I was definitely more aware, like she said, in public, and I kind of felt really like I'm not protected anymore. I would go to school and I would be scared to like see the students that were bashing me online in case of like what if they do hurt me or something. And funny enough, they were like all males. So I don't know, you just feel less protected. And if I walked into a bathroom and I saw a male, like, and I accidentally called him a he because he is a he, and they flipped out, I don't even know what I would do. And I think it's a scary situation that we shouldn't have to be put in regardless. And I think that, like I said, there's definitely way more ways to solve something like this and prevent it from happening.
Does Briley, does your sport mean more to you now since all of this happened? Does it volleyball, any other sports that you're involved with? Do you take it more seriously now?
I would say that before I almost would think that I would take it for granted, but now realizing that things like that can happen in a split second and completely change the sport, it definitely makes me realize I need to really show my love for the sport. I love the sport volleyball, I love the sport soccer, and any other sports that I played in the past. And I realized, like I mentioned earlier, the sisterhood is so big, and I have been valuing that and enjoying that so much more and taking in every little moment, because I pray that that's never stripped away from us. I pray that it does not become something that is just allowed and just kind of thrown in to where biological male can join a female athlete sport.
How about you, Ella? Do you feel a stronger sisterhood in your sport? Do you like realizing that this is something that can be taken away from you, like that, or that your enjoyment for it could be reduced if there are males that are allowed to participate?
Yeah, I agree with like Briley. I think it would just be stripping away the sisterhood of the sport. And like with my team, I think it just is an uncomfortable thing that I wouldn't want all of us to be put through, and something so unfair that shouldn't even be happening to begin with. Also, with that, like, I think that my sport is so, like, I value it so much in my life. And just to feel like one day you have it and the next day it could get stripped away, like, I couldn't imagine. And I guess I'm going through it technically because I just got injured. And it just makes me like regret not taking in the moments that I had beforehand. Like I had all of this fun time. I was doing so well. Like it just makes you feel regret for not appreciating it more. And I think if I had a male that I had to compete with, I feel like I would feel that regret again. Like you should have took it in more, even though that it's not my fault and I shouldn't even have to compete with them in the begin, like to begin with.
What do your classmates or teammates say when no one is around that they don't say to the public? I'll start with you, Ella. Do your teammates and classmates, especially females, do they agree with you privately, but they just worry about saying something in public?
Yeah, a lot of them do encourage me. They're like, hey, keep it up, like keep up the good fight. We're here supporting you. That's what I kind of hear a lot. But then there are some other friends that like say like, well, I don't see why it's so important if they're not harming me. And I'm like, they're not harming you yet. Like, how would you feel in public if a man came in the women's restroom? Like
Yeah.
it could all change for you. And I think it's just something that they kind of have to experience it or open their eyes a little bit more to understand like how it can feel, basically, like if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. Briley, what about you?
I have a lot of super good friends that are supporting me and telling me to continue, and saying what I'm doing and my father is doing is great. And just like Ella, I also have friends that are either super laid back, they won't even mention the topic to me, they won't even say a thing to me, say that they're happy for me, proud of me, or anything. and they kind of just are more distant now and kind of took a step back away from me. And of course, I would never want something like this to affect a friendship, but if I don't have a friend that's there in support
Yeah.
for me, then are they really like a friend to move forward with in life?
It's hard because I can relate, because there are friends throughout my own journey, even as an adult, that you get closer to, and some that just, oh, that's like just too political, or that you're just, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want people to be mad at me, or anyone to be mad at me. I want everyone, and that's when they'll throw around the word love, but I just think I find that disingenuous, and it's hard for me to be close to people that are kind of don't have the same strengths, because I value that more. Honesty, strength, loyalty, those are things that can be in short supply sometimes, and I value my friends who are strong and who have my back, and not the super secret supporters as much.
I definitely agree. The people that stand up with me, I mean, obviously no one's been like next to my side, like speaking out like this, but the ones who do say more to me and the ones who do show more support towards me, those are the people that I want to be surrounded by. Those are the people that I enjoy being surrounded by, and they encourage me to continue to do this.
Yeah. They don't have to be just like you, speaking out or doing podcasts. As long as they are proud to be your friend and proud to be at your side. Maybe they're more shy. That's just not their cup of tea. But if they've got your back, that's good enough. That's great. Ella, what about, I know, because I'm very good friends with your mom. What has it meant to you to have your mom's constant like love and support? What does that mean? Has that made this all so much easier?
Yeah, it's been so much easier, especially because I'm like a mama's girl through and through. Like, you're not cried and you run up and then you start crying. That's just like the type of person my mom is to me. And she's the one person that I could, if nobody else supported me, but my mom supported me, I could probably still do what I'm doing today, because I think her support is just 24/7, and she just cares so much about me and she wants to protect me as well. And like, she cares so much that she's like, Ella, like, if it's getting too much, I'll call it off. And she's just such a mama bear. Like, for with some of the interviews, she's just there going mama on her, like everyone she's yelling at, like, hey, this is my baby, and I get you don't care about your baby the same way I do, but I'm not gonna let you put her through this or brainwash her to do this. And I think I don't know, she's just someone I really look up to, and if I had to write an essay on it, I probably could. I'm so grateful to have a loving mom.
And for you, Briley, I know, and you have very supportive parents. Both of your parents are supportive, but there's the one that's sort of like, I got this, I'm taking this on, because you have other siblings. And so, so Briley, for you, your dad has been like such, he has a website. He's very protective, and he is behind you 100%. What kind of difference has that made for you?
A huge, huge difference. My dad, he has always been very protective, but especially in this situation, he's been over the top protective, which I wouldn't have wanted it any other type of way. That's exactly what I love. And he was the first one to speak out about it. And then I look up to him so much that really encouraged me to speak out about it, because I realized, coming from an actual female athlete, that would bring things much further. But for him, like, I cry when I talk about it. Like, he just brings me so much joy. The fact that he hasn't stopped and he's started a whole website. It's a whole nother chapter for him and me, and we're able to start it together.
That's amazing. What is something that people would be surprised to learn about you, Briley? What's something you like, something that maybe would, in a cute, funny way, what would surprise people? You too, Ella.
Ella, if you could think of something off the top of the head, go for it.
Okay, for me, they may be surprised to learn I'm a huge like nerd geek. I love Harry Potter. I love Marvel comics. I've read all the Harry Potter books. I love the Harry Potter movies. At Halloween, I do the house and so there's some friends that are, and that are like, you really like that? I'm like, oh yeah, I really, really do.
For me, the only things I can think of is like I'm a huge animal person. I'm like so against animal cruelty. I love my pets. I love all animals. I don't know. I love animals. And then second, maybe like I have like a squishy obsession. I'm trying to collect all the dumplings. Like I have a really weird squishy obsession right now too.
Oh my gosh, join in my family. We every time there's squishies, I have to stop because they're all like, oh, right now I have Nido right here that my daughter got me. So yeah, they're very popular. Something I should have invented or like invested in at least, because they just it's become so popular. So Briley, what about you? What's something quirky that people would be curious to know?
Well, I guess just kind of like the thing that a lot of my friends kind of learn to know about me is how car sick I get. If I'm in a car for 15 minutes, I am nauseous like crazy. And also the way I react to different foods. I'm like not a picky eater, but I'm not a fast food eater. And anytime I have fast food, I get that nauseous feeling, and I'm just known as a very nauseous person. And so some of my friends are deathly afraid of puke, so they have to keep their distance away from me at moments like that.
Oh, I get really car sick too. I have to sit in the front or drive. If I sit in the back, or I've gotten a little bit better since I had to fly more. But yeah, it stinks when you have like the kind of equilibrium's a little bit off. Well, that's interesting. So Ella, your mom sent me, I'm supposed to do some rapid fire questions. So I'm going to go look at her list. We kind of said, well, what is the most ridiculous thing that someone has maybe said to you? And not all the crazy, like mean, maybe the really mean things like calling you really bad names, but is there something crazy nice or good that someone has said to you? Ella, you first.
Crazy nice. I think the nicest thing I received is one of my old teachers at the middle school. She gave my little brother a card to bring home to me. And I opened the card and it was like, keep it up, you're doing great. Like, love, miss, whatever. And I thought that was just like the sweetest thing ever, especially because she's like an older teacher and she's someone I looked up to a lot when I was in the middle school. And I think it's something I'm going to carry with me. I think I still have the card downstairs. I think it's just the sweetest thing ever.
Oh, that's nice. What about you, Briley?
So I coach for soccer, and I had one of the mothers of a daughter that I had coached reach out to me after we went on Fox, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. Like my mind is blown that you're on there, and I'm so happy to see that you're standing up for this." With my daughter, it means so much. She plays volleyball, and just seeing that I was a role model to even her and her daughter was amazing.
That's amazing. And when someone it makes it all worth it, right? Like, especially on a particularly hard day when you're sort of like, why should I keep doing this anymore? Has someone come up to you and just said, I appreciate you. Thank you what you're doing for my daughter. And then you're like, okay, I can do this another day. I can fight some more. That's happened to me a lot where I'll just start bawling because I'm like, you don't know the day I've had. I'm ready to call it quits. That you said that to me just kind of made it just made my whole day. Thank you so much. And so it's important. And I would say if you're like, hey, send these girls some messages on their X accounts, message them. If you run into them, say thank you. It means a lot. You're not overstepping to just stop and take the time to say thank you. What you're doing is hard. Thank you for what you're doing for my daughter, for my granddaughter. It's really appreciated. I know, Ella, I'll say for you, you had a really great shout out from Rachel Campos Duffy in St. Croix County where you live, where she gave you a shout out and said that because of what you're doing, she's hopeful that her little granddaughter Rosita, when she grows up, lives in the same area that you do, that she won't have to face a boy in the bathroom. That she won't have to worry, is there going to be a boy on the other side of that volleyball net? So that's a pretty great thank you from a very recognizable person. How did that make you feel?
Well, just talking to her, I was like, oh my goodness, is this even real? And like when I saw her go up on the stage and say all that, it was just like, wow, you're being recognized. Keep it going. And I think that's like a pretty big thing to say because like grandbabies mean the world to, like, I know I mean the world to my grandma. And I think putting so much trust and faith in me, it just really makes my fight even like more worth it.
Yeah, that's somebody that has such a platform was just saying thank you, to what you're doing, to your mom, to Jolene, who's the St. Croix County chair, that because of your efforts, you're making the world a safer place for my daughter. And that's what you guys were saying to Sophie Cunningham. Thank you, because what you did, that just really validated a, a lot of what we've said. Because how many times have you heard haters say, nobody cares, or because there's not a big superstar player kind of affirming you. Well, this never happens. You're exaggerating. Why do you even care? Sophie Cunningham saying, yeah, this happens. It matters. It matters if it just happens once. And we should care. And I really care about it. I'm going to say something. That makes a difference, right? And is there anything else? Is there, each of you, if you could say, if I was Sophie Cunningham, I wish she's beautiful. But if I was Sophie Cunningham, Briley, what would you say right now?
I would say you don't even know how much it means to not only me, but all of the other female athletes and all the other females in general, to see that another person that has gone through so much sports in her life and so much different groups of sisterhood, that you are speaking out about it, even with the platform that you have, is just showing how important this is. And I would just say thank you, and words can't even describe how grateful we all are for you standing up.
Ella, what would you say?
I would say like thank you for speaking out on this topic because I know this topic can be like really controversial, and I know firsthand like what it feels like to receive a bunch of hate, and I could not even imagine how the hate like she has received. And like thank you for taking the step for females because a lot of people are already looking up to you, and when you're in this prime time, like this is the most audience that you are getting. And I think speaking up on it was like, if I was in this situation, this would not be the thought in my head, but it was for you. And just thanks for throwing like everything out there and risking it all for us.
Yes. And I hope she hears that. A few more rapid fire questions before we go. Where's the weirdest place that somebody has recognized you? Ella, you first.
I'd have to say at one of my track meets or at the bank.
At the bank. That's great. For me, at the Out and Out. They called my name out. I was picking up macaroni and cheese, and a couple was like, "Are you Scarlett Johnson?" And for a second, I was like, are you? Is this good or bad? Maybe." And then they thanked me, and so it was good. But I was with a bunch of kids, so they're like, "Oh, you're famous." Like, yeah, kind of a big deal. Although it was so small, Out and Out in Cedarburg. But now, what about you, Briley?
I would say at a parade. I was in a parade and I was just walking and happened to be walking to someone right next to me and made eye contact, and then a conversation just immediately sparked from there about the whole topic.
Yeah. And it'll happen more the more that you do, especially going on Fox and Friends. How far is your farthest troll? Like, if you can see where they're from, like, is there a certain troll that's in another country or another state?
I personally haven't really looked at like the locations, but I can say the complete opposite, that there was somebody I thought I was close with. And then next thing you know, I had people messaging me, "Oh, did you see so and so's story on Snapchat?" And I'm like, "No." And I go and look, and it has my name plastered all over. And, you know, I would have never expected that. I thought we were friends.
Oh, that's terrible. And they putting all that on social media, and that's why I say don't read the comments, don't look yourself up too much. Someone will. I had to tell, even unless it's really important, people don't send me. I don't even need to know, because that you can get, you're as tough as you think you are. It still hurts a little bit, but sometimes they hate you because they ain't you. So you have to remember that. Ella, how far is your farthest stroll?
I think mine was like in Florida or something, or sometime, or actually reverse it. I have like some supporters that are like in my comments. They're like, support here all the way from Europe, and I'm like, whoa, that's from a far away. But yeah, my haters probably in Florida, across the country or whatever, and across the world is in Europe. My supporters.
You have a lot of supporters because I help you with their X account. You have supporters from all over the world, like Scotland, Ireland, everywhere. So and you will too, Briley. Like, there'll be people that are watching you from all over that are like, thank you for speaking out. So, Briley, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
To time travel. Not only because I get car sick and I hate traveling in the car, but also just because I've always wanted to travel the world.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Ella?
Mine would be maybe like web shooters or something. I'm about to go watch the new Spider-Man movie and I'm so excited. So I think web shooters would be so cool to just like go around the city like that.
Are you gonna watch it tomorrow night? Yes, I have tickets for us to go see it tomorrow night at
Yeah, I think I'm watching it Thursday night.
Thursday.
Yeah.
My daughter was like begging me to get tickets the very first time that it shows. Like, again, we're nerdy. We love Marvel, and I love Spider-Man. I love going to Universal Studios. Yeah, I love all that stuff. And Star Wars. Like my kids, we watched it a million times over and over, and I geek out at Star Wars Land. Like, and my husband thinks it's just the funniest thing that I know all of these facts about all these like kind of fan favorite shows. But and I love Disney World too. So we're a big Disney like family watching the movies. But yeah, that's kind of my nerdy geeky side, which I love. You build like there's that kind of, that's what makes you who you are, like having all of these like different things going on. But so I'm really glad that you guys could come on. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? I think we covered just about everything, or at least as much. Well, and we'll definitely talk some more. We'll definitely circle back with you, Briley, about what's happening in Michigan. And I really hope that there is enforcement action, because that's how we're going to have real change. And I know we've had a conversation with your dad, and we're going to do that again with your dad, where we could talk a little bit more about those issues. And Ella, we've got there's 2 events coming up. One on August 4th, and then one September 25th. So August 4th, a very big deal. You're going to be meeting, I'll let you say.
Riley Gaines.
Yay. So Riley Gaines is coming to New Richmond. It's going to be an event about protecting girls' sports, girls' spaces, protecting children. And you're going to speak with her and meet with her. And then you're going to be on her podcast the next day, which is amazing. And then you're going to be a part of a Moms for Liberty town hall in Wisconsin. And I'm hoping very soon, Briley, that we have a town hall in Michigan. And you would certainly be a part of that, you and your dad, because we really need, Michigan is a state that really needs, I think that there's a lot more on Team Sanity in Michigan, but you've got some very populated areas that have gone very woke, just like here in Wisconsin. So we definitely need to, hopefully we're going to have more chapters in Michigan, and we'll be able to have a town hall in Michigan really soon. really soon. But on September 21st, we're having a Wisconsin parental rights town hall, and Ella, you and your mom are going to be on a panel that I moderate about Title IX, where we're going to talk about these very issues. And that's going to be in Richfield, Wisconsin, again on September 21st. So, and I'll put more about all of those things in the comments. I'm so grateful that both of you girls came on. It's late, and I know you both have a lot going on. So I really appreciate you. You girls, you're doing so much. I appreciate everything that you do. I hope that you continue to do interviews and continue to grow in speaking, your public speaking. I think you guys have very bright futures, and you're learning. You have a superpower that you did not mention, which is that you're so brave. And now you've learned a trick, a life hack, that when you stand up like David versus Goliath and you say something out loud and you say the truth, even an unpopular truth, and you survive it, now you can survive anything. You're so much stronger. You have so much less fear, and you let the fear that you do have, because everyone has it, you don't let it stop you, because you know that on the other side, there's going to be a lot of good things. So I hope that you really internalize that you're very, very brave, very strong. And like you said, Ella, you're so much more mature and you're different in all the right ways. You're already amazing human beings, and you're going to be amazing adults. And I can't wait to see all the things that you guys do. If you have any last words before we wrap it up.
I just want to say thank you, Scarlett, and thank you, Moms for Liberty. Adding on to that, any girl that has spoken up and everyone that both I know Ella and I both look up to, and thank you, and it means a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Scarlett.
Always love you, ladies. You're great. We'll talk off air, and I'm going to put all of your handles, your social media handles. Follow these girls. They support their journey. If you live in Wisconsin or Michigan, you know what, and you are a parent or you have a daughter that is going through a difficult situation, if there's something going on in your school, reach out to us at Moms for Liberty, and make sure you reach out to these girls, because you have somebody. You're not alone. If you're a girl and you're in Michigan, you're in Wisconsin, you're anywhere in this country, and you just need some support, I know these girls would be happy to talk to you. So reach out. You are not alone. You're never alone. All right. So thank you for joining. And I look forward to talking to